This is Berners Street in Soho, and I'm just outside the Sanderson Hotel. There is nothing special here, or even anything unusual, but there is a very strange story in the history of Berners Street, because for one day in 1809, Berners Street was the most famous street in London, and number 54, where the hotel stands now, was the most famous address in London. The Berners Street Hoax is the story of a practical joke that went right, and then went badly wrong, and made the perpetrator of the hoax a wanted man by half of London. The hoax was invented by Theodore Hook, a writer who was notorious for his practical jokes, almost always at the expense of others. However, the Berners Street Hoax was one joke too far, and he would live to regret it. He made a bet with a friend of his that he could make 54 Berners Street the most famous address in London in the space of just 1 month. The friend agreed, and Hook got to work. He and some of his friends wrote hundreds and hundreds of letters to tradesmen, politicians, clergymen, actors, anyone they could think of, requesting goods and services, assistants and visitors for Monday, the 27th of November 1809. He and his friend then sat in an upstairs room of a house opposite 54 Berners Street and waited to see what would happen. It all kicked off at 5 AM with the arrival of the first of 12 chimney sweeps. The occupants of 54 Berners Street were not in on the joke and simply turned away everyone who arrived, but people just kept on coming. Furniture deliveries, plumbers, carpenters, dressmakers, pianos, large wedding cakes, doctors, lawyers, vicars, even funeral directors and a hearse all arrived throughout the day, and all were turned away in mounting anger. Even dignitaries such as the Governor of the Bank of England, the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Lord Mayor of London arrived, partly because they had also received a letter and partly to see what all the fuss was about. Half of London was in uproar over what was happening. A riot nearly erupted and the police were called, adding to the number of people already in Berners Street, which wasn't as wide as it is today, and so spilled out into Oxford Street. Hook suddenly realised he was now a victim of his own success and made a dash for the safety of the countryside, where he stayed for some time, waiting for it to all die down. It was forevermore known as the Berners Street Hoax and is probably the biggest practical joke in history. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please check out our other videos on the Offbeat London channel.